my name is Lisa Grace and this is Nailchemy's YouTube channel. I hope you enjoyed this video. Okay, so today I'm going to be sculpting. I've got my hands on the new Nailchemy forms and these are amazing. Nice and strong, nice and sturdy, which is everything that you need from a nail form. So I'm just going to pop this under the free edge and just secure that to Sam's finger. Where are my scissors? So I need to relieve some of the pressure that we get from these side walls. Let me just zoom in a little bit. So I'm just going to use my cuticle scissors just because they're really nice and thin and I can get in here and cut my sides without disturbing the form. If your scissors are too chunky then it gets a little bit difficult. So just by doing that it takes the pressure off and it just allows you to pull your form in a little bit tighter. So now I've done that, I'm going to close the rest of this form and then I can start pinching this nice and tight. Just do it a little bit at a time because what you don't want to do is pinch it too much and then end up kinking your form. Okay, that looks good. So I always make sure that when you're looking from the top, let me just zoom in, that the form is actually thinner than the rest of the nail because you're going to be applying product on there. So that will even it out. Okay, right, so I'm using some of the new spring collection today. I've just grabbed 4 out of the 8. So for this we're going to be using Apple Blossom, which is the pastel green. We've got Tulip, I think this is the pastel orange, yes it is. And then we've got Orchid, which is a beautiful shimmery pink. And then Honeysuckle is our yellow. I'm using the medium speed monomer on this nail and I'm also going to be adding some of the peach, which is my favourite core powder, and we'll be capping it all in Genesis Clear. So I'm going to start off just picking up small beads. I'm going to drain the back of the bead just a bit because I don't want this running out of control. So I'm going to start popping my beads on. So it is going to run, it is going to drip down the side of the form, but we don't want it dripping too much, so make sure you are draining your beads just a touch. So I'm just going to whack them one on top of the other like this, and as it starts to run down the side, this is what we want. Can you see how that is already starting to marble in on itself? So I'm just going to add another little bit of green in on that yellow. No, I'm not because it came off my brush. Try that again. Fabulous. Now all of this that's running down the side, as it starts to set, which we'll just give it another minute, as it starts to set we can pull it back up onto the nail and then it will just marble into itself like so. So pull it all up and just smush it in and it just creates its own marble. So don't smush it too much, otherwise you'll blend all the colours, but just push it into position and then pat it. And obviously we're going to end up with gaps, but we're going to come back in with a bit more marble and sort all that out. Actually, I don't think we have. Just a little one up this side. Bring this across and pat that down. Well, lots of pastels that I've worked with previously, when you pick the bead up, they're very white and then the colour tends to separate, but these haven't done this, which is perfect. Right, so that's really starting to set now, so I can really get my shape in just by patting and pressing And then, so we're nice and connected up here. Just need to add a little bit more. Don't worry about how it looks up this top section, because we're going to be adding our peach on top and doing a subtle ombre on the top. So I'm just going to add a blob of pink, a little blob of green, I think. And obviously we don't want this bit running down the form because it's so close to her skin, so I'm just going to wiggle that about a little bit and then pat that into position and make sure that you're happy with that. Fabulous. Right, so in with my peach, I'm just going to get a medium-ish size bead initially, drain the back of the bead, and I'm going to pop it here just that we can cover up that top section and just blend that nice and down and start fading over that marble. So you'll still see it, but it will transition under the nude. Another bit up around the cuticle. So make sure your nail is tilted down for this section. Place your bead quite close to the cuticle, wipe your brush out, and then we can just tap that into place all the way around your sidewalls, and that will settle. And then start feathering that bead down. So this bead will get your apex in place. I think I've got something in my brush. I'll look at that in a minute. So that gets your apex in position, and then it gives a nice fade down onto all this. It does look quite psychedelic, doesn't it? Quite hippie.
It's definitely a bit of me.
Definitely. Right, so on top of this, I'm going to add a couple of the nail art trinkets. So I've got the gold ones, and I'm going to be using just some of the smaller ones on here. So ordinarily, if I wasn't doing a tutorial, I'd have done this. Mind you, it still might work. I was going to say I'd do this a little bit quicker, so that I could press this into the wet acrylic, and I think it might still be wet enough actually. So I'm just going to pop that in. Press that down and into it. Let's get a soy cup up here. Press that into it. What else can we whack on this one? I think a square, and then I think I'm gonna do some caviar beads.
There go the arrows.
Yes, we're very lucky around here. We have the red arrows that live quite close by. It always makes me laugh wherever I go anywhere. I went to Silverstone for the F1 a couple of years ago, and the red arrows were there, and everyone was like, oh my god, this is amazing, look at them. And like, because we see them all the time around the back of the house, I was like, oh, well, I might just go home with them, you know, they live next door to me. But I think
with red one.
I think sometimes we take them for granted, don't we, because we see them all the time practicing and stuff.
I still love it.
Don't get me wrong, I still...
Sitting in your back garden watching the red arrows
go
practice.
Over, yeah. Oh, I like that. Right, so I've just pressed those into the acrylic while it's setting. So I don't need to cap the cuticle area because it is a core powder and we've done it to the right thickness, but I do need to cap the design that we've done, and more importantly the gold trinkets that we've added, because filing over those would just, nails on a chalkboard. Go through you, wouldn't it?
Sparks.
Oh yeah, don't electric file. Didn't you have some on last time and we were filing off and it
was sparking. It was like, do you mind turning the electric file off?
Yeah. So you'll be able to see, I like on the corner of this square where it pokes through, where there's not quite enough clear acrylic on there, because it'll still be shiny. So it's quite easy to identify where you've capped and where you haven't capped. But make sure that it's all nice and covered. So I'm going to give this a couple of minutes to set, and then we'll come back and we'll get this form off and we'll give it a good file. Right, so while we're waiting just for that to finish, I'm going to change the file. So I'm just going to show you how easy this is. Literally just peeling that off and taking both off. Like so. Don't worry if you do get any residue left like this, you can. Let's see how easy that literally just rubs off. So you can just rub it off, or you know, if you're not too fussed, it won't hamper if you whack your other ones straight on top, but it comes off dead easy. So you can either rub it off like this or use a bit of acetone or your isopropyl alcohol, anything like that will get it off. Right, so see, it's so easy to change. Let me 180 on this side. This is the problem I have, getting them off, it's not a problem. Getting them on and lined up. that's different. But I love how easy these are to change. Boom! Done! And then that can go in the bin. Right, so we should be about ready to go now, Sam. So obviously, new file, it's going to have sharp edges, so I'm just going to use an old file just to take the sharpness off those edges, because it's so easy to catch your clients. It happens.
Usually me. She tries everything out on me.
If anybody told you they've never cut anybody, they're lying. It happens. Right, so you can hear that is nice and set. So now I can release the form, give it a good pinch underneath, and that will just pop off like that. Oh, look at that, Sam. Look under there.
Ooh, oh, look at that curl.
C-curve, darling. It's not called a curl, it's called a C-curve, darling. Okay, right, so first things first, I'm going to tidy up the underneath. So make sure, especially because we are using a nail file. Obviously we're using a nail file. This is a new nail file. Make sure you are protecting your client's skin in this corner. So typically when I'm doing an acrylic design, I will either buff the nail and then top coat, or I'll wipe over with acetone and then I'll top coat, or I'll buff and then I'll wipe over with acetone and then I'll top coat. And I'm going to do that. So I'm going to give this a bit of a buff. And this is just going to work out your larger filing lines. Give that a dust off, and then this a good scrub, and that will just melt that top layer of acrylic. And then before I top coat it, I'm going to make sure that none of my non-lint-free white is in there. Can't see any, so I'm going to come in with the no wipe top coat and bring this to life. Definitely no lint in that.
There's no lint in that.
Okay, right, just pop that in the lamp for me, please, Sam. And I'm going to pop a blob of the Mango Elixir Cuticle Oil on this one and then just rub it into the skin. I always put too much on.
Never put too much on.
And there we go. Show the underside.
Oh wow.
Oh, look at that. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Don't forget to give us a little thumbs up, hit like on that video, drop any comments that you've got down in the comment section below, and more importantly, make sure you hit subscribe so that you get a notification for all of our future videos. All of the products that I've used today you can find on our website, which is nailchemy.co.uk, and I will see you in the next video.